Welcome back. It's time to open the door, and it's time to find out who's the next turd who's got in their eyes. And here's your host, the man taking on the feces of evil. It's Jay Scott.
Thank you, Matthew. And tonight, it's Owen Jones.
This isn't just the biggest, the worst terrorist attack since 9/11 on US soil. It's not just the biggest mass shooting in American history. This is, as my LGBT colleague Patrick Strowgick at BuzzFeed has pointed out, the biggest mass killing of LGBT people in the West.
The deliberate targeting of
since the Holocaust.
I'm sorry for Owen Jones. I would also feel guilty if I'd spent my life covering for the ideology that just killed 50 LGBT people. Now, for the benefit of those who don't know, Owen Jones is a slightly crackers, but quite sweet, far-left commentator in the UK who finally has achieved a professional aspiration of all journalists, cracked America. But unfortunately for him, he's cracked America with a viral video of him storming off the set on Sky News.
The claim on the news wires from Islamic State that he was one of their soldiers.
Any dreg of humanity can pick up a gun and murder people, and he is. That's all he is. And I'll get a load of bile in my Twitter feed, don't care, by the way.
You get that anyway.
Well, I'll get it anyway, and you know what? Fill your beats, by the way. The issue is, I will not have people, as a gay man, appropriating the people who never speak about gay rights, except when this happens. If they think a Muslim's involved, then they'll jump on the bandwagon and they'll spout as much bile as they want. He apparently had no strong religious convictions whatsoever. This person is a homophobic terrorist, wherever else he is. Presumably he's got some twisted view of Islamic fundamentalism to justify his, even though he's just a knuckle-dragging thug.
Clear upset at something which was quite hard to put your finger on. I mean, why storm out? It's my view that he is probably on that learning curve I talked about earlier. He has spent his entire life covering for radical Islam as a journalist, insisting that really only Islamophobia is the problem. He's constantly derided anyone who's expressed any concern about this matter. So I think he's one of those people who he had a snapping moment, in my view, of reality catching up with him and his wrong interpretation of part of what's going on in the world.
There's not been many LGBT voices that I've personally heard myself, and people have to understand, as LGBT people watching this and elsewhere, that they look at something like this, and it is one of the worst atrocities committed against LGBT people in the Western world for generations.
Well, it
has to be called out as
something that's carried out against human beings, isn't it? No matter what. Let's just make this point that you cannot say this is a worse attack than what happened in Paris, where again innocent people were actually.
It's LGBT people. What I'm saying is, this has to be called out for what it is. It was an intentional attack on LGBT people. This person...
on the freedom of all people to try and enjoy themselves as Bataclan.
No, I'm sorry, can we just explain? You don't understand this because you're not gay, OK? You don't understand this because you're not gay, OK? You don't understand this because you're not gay, OK? So just
whether
listen.
I'm gay or not has no...
No, it does.
It has no reflection on the fact that this person killed...
You have ownership of horror of this crime.
Can I just say, I find this astonishing.
I'm not Jewish and I'm not gay.
Excuse me.
I'm not French. But I'm still equally horrified.
Let's stick with what the papers are saying about it rather than what you're saying at the moment. But that's the headline. ISIL wages war on gays in West. Now, you share that view that basically this was deliberately targeted on one part of the community rather than the freedom to enjoy yourself no matter what your sexual orientation is.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the coverage in the newspapers.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's what we're here for.
I'm trying to understand the point you're making. This was a deliberate attack on LGBT people in an LGBT venue. It was a homophobic terrorist attack. Do you not understand that?
No,
it's not some abstract kind of, he just picked a random club out of nowhere. He picked a club because it was full of people he regarded as deviants. That's why he attacked the club. Why are we trying to deflect? I mean, what?
We are not trying to deflect. No. We are trying to reflect what is being said by the authorities here.
I'm sorry, I just find this the most astonishing thing I've ever been involved in on television.
As it was on those people in the back. It's not bizarre. We are trying to draw parallels in terrorist attacks on people who are being attacked, whether they are enjoying rock music in Paris, whether they are gay people in Florida enjoying a night out.
This was an attack on LGBT people. This was a homophobic attack.
Can I say that one of the issue? Okay, I completely accept, as he does, that it was a homophobic attack. But for me, the issue is there are going to be homophobic people. There'll be people who hate black people, or who hate gay people, or hate Jewish people. There are going to be people who are lunatics. There are going to be people who are fanatics.
Who are lunatics? Stop using these words, Julia.
Is it possible for me to finish one sentence?
If you stop using words like lunatic to talk about homophobic terrorist attacks.
Here's the thing. I'll choose the words I want to use, and you choose the words you want to use. Do you understand?
Go for it, Julia.
Okay, well, thank you. So, whoever these people are, and whatever their motivations are, the key thing is we're always going to have mad and bad people in the world.
People.
And
a spokesman for Stonewall saying that people would be feeling vulnerable, and basically indicating...
You're going to have an LGBT voice talking about it. Interesting.
Sorry?
Nothing. Carry on. Go on.
Owen, seriously.
I've had enough of this. Let me go home. Sorry.
Owen, genuinely. We're trying to have a civilised conversation.
I
know you're upset. You're upset. Quite right. Everyone's upset and angry about this, but storming off a TV set.
Right, well, I think we'll continue the press preview.
Anyway, the next day, I was asked to go on Channel 4 News from Soho in London to talk about the vigil that was going on there and to talk about Orlando and so on. Turned out that one of the other guests was Owen Jones. I said, it's fine, go ahead. And then I got a call saying, actually, sorry, we can't have you on because Owen Jones won't appear alongside you. And so I said, well, this is absolutely typical that somebody, it's what I said earlier, it's only ever really about politics with these people. That's all they're after in this.
Yeah.
And if they can use sexuality, they will. But here is a person who on Sunday complained there weren't enough LGBT voices. I happen to be gay, and I was asked on the programme the next day, and he got me cancelled.
Yeah.
Because I'm the wrong type of gay. I'm not the far left Islamophobia is the main problem person. I'm somebody who for years has said there is a real problem here and people need to wake up to it.